over the weekend on Sunday, there was a protest outside of a synagogue. And why? Well, the synagogue was holding a sale for, or at least I believe it was a like promotional real estate event
An
by an
auction.
organization, right, by an organization called My Home in Israel Real Estate. Now, the company had done this before, back in New Jersey, and effectively, this is selling Palestinian land that has been gobbled up by Israel in the West Bank. And just to give you a sense, this was back from the New Jersey event. And most of the events, My Home in Israel brought along to showcase available properties in Israel and the Palestinian territories it occupies. Multiple units in a building near Givat Hamotos in East Jerusalem, again, an occupied city, townhouses near Ariel University in the heart of the West Bank, and a 5-bedroom villa with a pool in the luxury enclave of Efrat, south of Bethlehem. So this is plain West Bank, contested territory, occupied city, East Jerusalem, like just wild shit. Now, this was protested by a number of groups here in Los Angeles. And then, as happens, there were counter demonstrators, there were Zionist demonstrators, and violence broke out. There was scuffles and whatnot. And of course, then Joe Biden issues a statement like this: I am appalled by the scenes outside of the Adas Torah synagogue in Los Angeles. Intimidating Jewish congregants is dangerous, unconscionable, anti-Semitic, and un-American. Americans have a right to peaceful protest, but blocking access to a house of worship is never acceptable. And this was Karen Bass did a similar statement. Gavin Newsom issued a similar statement. Again, they are conflating the issue of selling stolen land with being anti-Semitic. Yes, it happened in a synagogue. But hey, here's my thing, is, Annie, that some of the protest, like we don't really know what started the violence, but we kind of do know. There's many different videos. There's a lot of scuffle, but we also know that the UCLA Zionists who attacked the encampment that night, a lot of them have not actually been apprehended. In fact, I believe only one, if that, have been apprehended about the things that they did. Brutalizing people, spraying people with, tear gas, throwing firecrackers on them, all kinds of stuff. So I wonder, months later, who might be instigating some of these this violence at these protests. So I guess I just wanted to get like your response to the way that these protests get twisted as anti-Semitic, but also like what local law enforcement is even doing about some of those who are perpetrating this violence.
Yeah. I mean, I know from many people that actually were there on Sunday at this protest, that what they experienced, what they lived through when they were being attacked by hostile anti-Palestinian counter organizers, if that's what you call them now, does not match the reality of what they're reading or they're seeing in media. I think the chant that goes every time the media lies, a neighborhood in Gaza dies, could not be more correct right now. What happened was not simply like protests that ended up in some kind of disagreement, is that there was an agenda. There was a clear agenda of those who came to this counter protest to not allow a real conversation about what it is that was happening in there. Like you said, the land that was being sold, that was being auctioned, that was being presented is stolen land. Of course, people have the right to protest that. And of course, the response that the police and Karen Bass, as they've like talked about what happened, so they needed to send more police to control the situation. But that actually didn't happen for quite a while. It took quite a bit of time, and in that time, more people, more protesters, more Palestinian supporters were attacked.
I mean, and journalists were attacked as well. I want to just, because it's funny, because I used to protest a lot. I used to live in New York, right? And it is interesting to see the response in New York versus LA. Why? Because New York is a police state. Like New York, you saw, who went in to go attack those Columbia students and like drag them out of the occupation. It was all cops, right? When there's a protest, they have you cordoned off. They have the other guys cordoned off. Like, say what you will, but they very much have like their little safe zones for the counter protesters and the protesters. LA, it seems, has taken a different tack, which is just let them fight. let them fight, and we'll say it was the Hamas-loving Palestine protesters at the end of the day. And it's wild to me because it's so dangerous. I mean, people have been injured. Journalists I know on UCLA campus and elsewhere have been seriously injured by these kinds of things. And then, of course, and I just wanted to remind everyone, because we talked earlier about some of the resignations that have happened, but one of the Jewish administration officials, I believe she was in working on human rights in the Middle East. Her name is Lily Greenberg Call. And she says she resents making Jews the face of the American war machine. And I found that quote just so chilling and apt. And I think so many progressive Jews identify with that. And the fact that you have a synagogue who's doing this illegal sale and opening its doors to that, no one is protesting a synagogue. They are protesting what is happening inside of it, and how upsetting for so many Jews who are against this, that a place of worship of their faith would be, doing an event like this, right? And how dare you make Judaism the face of land grab, of this dispossession. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.